Kids and cadets, welcome back to Tommy Time. Thanks for coming out. We're doing this final video on the 3 for $60. This is a 2019 Troy-Bilt TB400-XP. We have had success getting these other two units started. The yard machine there is got a Mower ZONGSHEN engine. We did a carb clean on that. We did a quickie clean on this Murray. So now we got another ZONGSHEN engine here. It's a 159cc. I don't think I ever messed with this kind of design before, so let's work on this together. It looks like we're going to have to take the recoil assembly off because this is all one piece. And that'll give us access to the gas tank under here. And then it looks like we got three 10mm bolts here to remove on this air filter backing plate. No cover or no filter on this. So let's start getting busy with this. First, I'm going to remove the three nuts on the top to remove the recoil. Maybe some of you have done this job before on this ZONGSHEN 159cc. I have done the smaller power more engines like that yard machine. This is a larger machine. This unit actually is front and rear wheel drive, and it has two handles, two paddles on the handle. One you can operate the front separately. The other operates the rear wheel drive separately. So this isn't so difficult right now because this whole piece looks like it comes off. Let me see why the gas tank is not coming off here. Okay, I see. This is all built into the tank as one piece. So let me remove these three. I probably should have did that first so I have access to my hose clamp down here. That didn't sound too good. Looks like it did a little stripping on that bolt. This has just got one hose clamp on it. I'm going to loosen that up by hand and then pull this free. We've got a ceiling about 1,200 feet, so I couldn't see who was leaving the area. All I could hear was the jet noise. So I can't give him hell for making too much noise. I don't have anybody to blame because I couldn't get a visual on it. Okay, remove the hose there. So this doesn't look too complicated. You guys are going to help me get this back together. It looks like this popped off. Something like that, maybe. I didn't see how that was on there. We're kind of looking at the dirt. There we go, something like that. That's how it came off. Remind me, the flat top of the gasket goes on the top. FT, flat top. What we'll do is put it right here for safekeeping. That way we know where it goes. Kind of windy here today. Windy and overcast. Okay, now it's time to get busy. Hose clamp there. Hope somebody out there in Never Land is paying attention so I can get this thing back together again in one piece. Hose clamp comes back. Break the tension. Okay, we're going to have a little fuel spillage. I'm going to try to do this quickly. We got another jet taking off. He's going to screw up my video. Still low ceilings, couldn't see who it was. So I'm going to put this off to the side. There was no fuel in this tank. Remember, we put some fresh fuel in it. So we may have some contamination. That might have been leftover dirt from the last one. Okay, so this doesn't look too complicated. It looks like they used the same coil as they did on that yard machine. Same setup on the coil assembly. So this has got a choke here, an automatic choke, which looks like it runs off of this thermostatic wafer on the muffler back here. So what they're doing is copying a Briggs design. So let's just start pulling this thing apart till we can get to the carburetor, because that's where our issue is. So they did a little better job. I really like this design. Bracket comes off. I can move this to the side. With a Briggs, there's a bunch of linkages I got to remove. So this actually, I kind of like this. Kind of like that, how that just came apart. Now we got a linkage for the air vane. Engine starts, air blows against the flapper up here and it opens up the choke. So this is a multitasking choke. It runs on this and then it runs on the thermostatic wafer attached to this linkage. So separated this backing plate from the back of the carburetor. It was a little tacky back there. Let's go ahead and remove this linkage first. The throttle linkage. Open the throttle all the way. I'll remove the spring first. Some needle nose to help me out. Okay, that's loose. Okay, that's off now. For the throttle, let's remove this if we can, and we can't because it's too tight. I'm going to try to figure out how to fish this thing out without bending it. There's a couple of 10s up here. I guess I got to remove these two because there's not enough slack in this. Oh, there we go. This thing pops up, so that makes it easy. So this is going to be tricky getting this back together again. Just manhandle it off like that, I guess. Okay, let that hang. Now we're free and clear on everything. Just got to figure out how this is going to go back together. Dirty. All that dirt from no filter built up here. So this resembles the carburetor very closely on that other yard machine we did a video on, except for this here. And it stinks. I can smell that bad gas. So I'm off camera. I'm just going to blast all this yard debris away just to start clean, and then we'll remove the bowl. And then we got to remove the secondary jet, the idle jet as well. So hold on. Let me turn you down since there's nothing to see up there. We're done with that. Okay, 10 on the bottom bowl nut. Remember, this bottom bowl nut will tell us the condition of the carb, and you can see all the rust on it, so we know we're going to have a rusty bowl. And it's leaking droplets of rusty fuel into that other gas that was there originally. So we got some pitting, a lot of snot buildup. This one was in worse shape than the yard machine carb that we looked at. So let's get busy, start cleaning this thing up. Gasket looks like it's reusable. It's still nice and wet and moist from the fuel. I'll clean up this top surface with a green pad. So raunchy. We had some raunchy fuel. So let me start with the bowl. Let me just blast this out with some air. And then we're going to clean it up with the wire brush. So this is fuel related. When you're using ethanol fuel, it causes rust. So let me blast this. Like I said, Dollar Tree, $3 for $1.25. I like this little brush here on the end. It lets me get down in the bowl and do a little scrubby dub. Some pitting there, but I was able to break that free. I won't see any issues, or there'll be no issues if the new owner continues to use non-ethanol. There won't be any more water down here to do any more damage. Take my screw here. The indicator says it's rusty, and it was rusty. It didn't lie. If this was clean, the carb bowl would have been clean. So let me grab a green pad for up here. I have a green dish sink pad here. These little scrubby pads. Just rough enough to clean up the surface without scratching it like a sandpaper would. I just want a nice smooth surface when I put this bowl back together again. Maybe do a once over inside. Okay, I'm happy with this. We're ready to move on. Let me blast this out. This will be ready to go. So that's ready. Let's move on to the main body now. We got this big rust ring here. I'm going to break that free with my brush. Like so. We're getting a little rain. Same thing as before with the other carb. We're going to take out the main jet. Hopefully it's going to come out for. Sometimes when they get this corroded with a lot of rust, they don't want to budge, and you end up stripping the brass. Let me throw a little carb clean down in there to try to break this free. Squirted some down. Hopefully it was good enough to break this. It appears to be coming out. Either it's stripping or it's coming out. Okay. Tappy tap. Here we go. You can see all that build up. Let me grab a little wire, my bread wrapper wire. Stick it in there. It is free and clear. Let me just run a brush through this to get rid of all that snotty buildup. Okay. I'm happy with that. I'm going to put a little carb clean down the center of the jet just to be double sure. That's ready. Put that aside. Now what? The emulsion tube. I'm going to take my hooked poker, get in there to the center of the carb and just push that down. It just unclicked. There we go. So there's some snotty buildup here. I want to get rid of that. Maybe take a little carb clean, since this one's so snotty to begin with. I may clean this one out. Although the holes here don't look like they're gobbered up, I'll just throw a little carb clean through this thing. Something like that. Take my green pad, just clean up that brass. Take some air pressure. I'm happy with that. Just come up here to these 4 big ones. Okay, we're good on that. Let's move on. I want to do my idle jet or slow jet. So what I'm going to do is look at the position of the throttle arm here. What I'll do is use the dirt that's built up here on the threads as my guide. So I'll put that back in the same position. Remove that. Okay, I can see where the dirt is on the threads. Pop up my secondary jet. Okay, that was free and clear. It's a larger size jet. It's a larger engine than that yard machine. My bread wrapper is going right in there with no problem. I'm going to take a little carb clean, spray it in there, blast it out with some air. Come over here, do a little pokey. Poke that. Poke that. I'm going to spray some carb clean in these two and then blast some air, compressed air through there. So the carb clean came out of the bottom on both of those blasts. The rain is increasing, but I'm going to keep going. Okay, let's put it back together again. Emulsion tube first. That goes back down. Jet on top. Okay, that's tight. I may spray a little bit of carb clean in there to loosen up the float valve. It seemed a little sticky, but now that feels good. Give it a little shot of air. Okay, I'm happy with that. So let's put in the secondary jet, or the idle jet, next. That goes back in. Give it a push, because there's a couple of O-rings that seat this thing. Put in my plastic adjustment screw. Okay, here we go. Looking for the dirt on the threads, and it's right about there. I don't see any more clean threads, so I know I'm where I was before. I think that's all we got to clean. Okay. I want my drain to be at the front of the carb, so that's like that. Put on my bowl, nut, and gasket. Still getting a little bit of rain. I'm going to take this off the impact and do it by hand. Okay, snug that down. Okay, now we're going to put on the choke linkage first, which is this one. Kind of fish this through like that. We'll see how that works. This is going to be kind of like juggling. Okay. I think I made it happen. Kind of bend it back into place. Did a little bendy there, but it looks like it's free and clear now. I don't know if that should be touching. The plastic was kind of touching the flywheel. I brought it back. We're still free and clear. Kind of had to tweak this down to get it to work. Anyway, let's do the carb linkage next. Something like that. I'll put the spring in first, and then the metal rod last. Okay, spring is in. Open up the throttle all the way and manipulate the linkage like that. So nothing's binding so far. This is still free and clear. Let's bring the thermostatic wafer linkage down. Okay. Yeah, I think I got it. There's a little V here in this linkage, and you can see the plastic tab here. I think as this wafer here heats up, it kind of works opposite of a Briggs. This heats up and it pulls on this little plastic tab, like in this direction, and then it opens up the wafer. So make sure your little plastic tab here on the choke is in between these two bars. This bar and this bar. This little plastic choke tab's got to be right there in the middle between this and this. As it heats up, it goes something like that. Kind of an odd design. Little different design. Haven't seen anything like that. Okay. So let's keep going. So now we have the I think the other assembly, the tank assembly, would go on, and then this goes on last, so we can hook up the fuel line. So let me finish pouring out the gas out of the tank. You can see how much it's rained here since you kids have been helping me. I haven't melted yet. So this looks like it's all one assembly here on the tank. It might actually be wedged up in there. The fuel cap might hold it in place. So let me get rid of the gas in here. This was fresh gas that I put in because the tank was empty. I'll kind of use some compressed air to blast out the tank. Then we'll put all that back on. PDC, pretty darn clean. Okay, let's get busy. No time to be messing around. This is serious. This is serious work. Let me blast this clean. Hold your ears. Give this thing a flying chance. Okay, I think that's good enough for the time being. Let's get the tank on. Let's shake a leg. See how this goes on without binding anything. I'll get the fuel hose started and then manipulate the three bolts here on the top. Kind of line up everything. Hopefully I don't pinch that air vein. Okay, the air vein is still free and clear. Okay, I think we're cooking with fire. We're really cooking with fire. We may even be cooking with propane. Okay. Let me see what's going on the back side here. It always goes on harder than it came off. Something is off. Okay, I think I just tweaked this plastic enough where it's cooperating. Okay, we're nearly there. Going to blast off this air filter backing plate, get rid of some of this. Okay, so let's do this now because we have access to it. We won't if we put the cover on. Okay, that's good and tight. Thanks for reminding me about this. Flat side on the top, FT. Everything still seems to be free and clear. So this thing here's got to go right there. I'll see if I can jimmy that into place. It's just a breather tube, so that shouldn't be too difficult. Okay, I got it. Now let's line up these holes like so. Okay, so now I know how to deal with one of these 159cc ZONGSHENs. Hope they don't come across my tailgate here too often. Tailgates are for parties, not for ZONGSHENs. No ZONGSHEN party. So this is screwing into that thermostatic wafer assembly, and it's somehow come out cross-threaded, and now it's going in kind of funky. I'm going to hand tighten this one so I don't destroy it. Okay, that's tight. Hand tighten the bottom two nuts. Okay, everything looks good. We'll find out here in a minute. Time for the recoil. This just sits on the top, and then these three nuts hold it down. So I'll move you guys back, and then I'll throw this on the ground. It was kind of heavy since it is a all-wheel drive machine. It had some weight to it. So this took about as long as the ZONGSHEN yard machine, just because I'm not used to all those linkages. Okay, do we have any extra parts? I don't see any extra parts on the tailgate, so the party can continue. Let's gas it. We got somebody leaving. Still can't see any tail numbers. Yeah. Vaguely saw a shadow. We're still about 1200 overcast with limited visibility. So that pilot's making his money today. It's no sun in Florida. Okay, so that's fueled. Do we have any leaking fuel? I don't want to blow up my driveway. That's all dry. Automatic choke, let's go. So engage both front and rear wheel drive separately. They both engaged. Started rather quickly, so I'm happy how this thing turned out. We had all that snot in the fuel, a lot of snot in the bowl. That wouldn't have ran unless somebody like Tommy Time physically removed all that buildup in the bowl Putting fresh fuel in it isn't going to do anything. Okay, I think that's all she wrote. I was just looking at the choke wafer to see if it was opening up. It is slowly opening as the engine's warming up. So I think we're calling it quits on this. We had total success on the 3 for 60. I'm still going to go through the wheels and lube this up. It seems like it's pushing a little rough. Yeah, I'm going to go through this. Doesn't want to seem to roll. I'm going to lube up the axles on each wheel, and the blade and the oil. And then I got to order a cover for this. I got to find out how to get the engine number and find the correct cover in a filter. Anyway, thanks for coming out. Appreciate you kids and cadets looking at this 2019 TB400-XP. Tip your waitress and wait staff. Have a good day.